UFC 246, Conor McGregor versus Donald Cowboy Cerrone takes place next weekend. We're going to go through the entire card, starting at the early prelims, ending with the main event, giving our predictions for every single fight, starting with Sabina Mazo versus JJ Aldrich. First of all, no one cares. Second of all, JJ Aldrich is probably going to win. Moving on, we've got important shit to get to. Brian Kelleher versus Odi Osborne. Again, no one really cares. However, I'll probably go with Odi Osborne here. I've seen Brian Kelleher KO'd a few times recently. Don't like the look of it. Getting a bit older with his career. I'm willing to bet on the taller, rangier, younger Odi Osborne to come in there and get the job done, despite his record only being 6-2. Moving on. Tim Elliott versus Askar Askarov. I thought Tim Elliott was going to win his last fight. He lost it. There seems to be a real motivation issue once getting in the UFC for Tim Elliott. You may have seen this on the Ultimate Fighter series that he was on as a guest to the show, where he got drunk and started sort of spilling his insecurities and his negative attitude about being in the UFC and how it doesn't fix your problems and you're just going to lose anyway. I don't like that attitude. You're 15-9. Well done, you caught Demetrius Johnson in a dash choke that you couldn't finish. No one cares. Moving on, I think Askar Askarov's going to get the job done. I thought he won his fight last, and let me see who it was against so I can remember. Brandon Moreno. I thought he beat Brandon Moreno, or I may have thought Moreno beat him, but I think Moreno's a beast. And for Askar Askarov to even make it look close, I'm picking Askar Askarov over Tim Elliott. Moving on, Alexa Kamur versus Justin Leday. Somehow, the Contender Series guy has got a main spot on the early prelims. The favoritism that we are witnessing in these Contender Series guys is a joke to the sport of the UFC. Tim Elliott and Askar Askarov are ranked flyweights being shifted aside for this 5-0 bum who's probably going to beat Justin Leday, because Leday has been KO'd twice in a row, I believe. Once by Johnny Walker and the other time, I believe, by Alexander Rakic as well, if I'm remembering correctly. But either way, he's been KO'd twice in a row. I don't like that. I feel like Alexa Kamur is going to be the younger guy coming in here, the stronger man with more power, gonna plant one on Justin Leday's old ass chin. I mean, listen, Justin Leday's 31 years old, looks about 40. I'm gonna say he's 40, okay? Because that's how old he looks. So Alexa Kamur's gonna get the job done. 24 years old, undefeated guy, coming into the UFC. Gonna make the most of his spotlight. Come in there and get Justin Leday out of there in the first round. Moving on to the prelims. Chaz Skelly versus Grant Dawson. Chaz Skelly coming off a controversial loss to Bobby Moffett, who is a man who caught him in a dash choke, I believe, or some kind of choke. Maybe, I don't know what choke it was, but I remember him being in a choke, not tapping, but the referee thought he was out. First of all, it was a bad stoppage. It shouldn't have been stopped. It's kind of like the Kevin Lee Michael Chiesa incident, where they were going to lose, but you just robbed it of a clean finish. I'm going to go with Grant Dawson here. He's a strong, young guy coming in here. Chaz Skelly's a big guy that cuts a lot of weight at the end of his career as well. Not the most muscle-bound guy, not the strongest guy either. Grant Dawson, I feel like, is going to have a big strength advantage in the clinch. Going to be able to get his own way on the ground as well. And I think he's going to ride out a dominant decision from on top for 3 rounds. Grant Dawson gets the job done. Drew Dober versus Nasrat Haqparast. Dangerous. Drew Dober can shut some guys out. He can. He's got that power at lightweight. He can come in there and make a real mess of things. Nasrat Haqparast is a fucking beast, though. So I am going to pick Nasrat Haqparast. But if you're looking to make some underdog money, listen, go with some Drew Dober. He can shut a guy's game down. But listen, I'm looking at the win that Nasrat Haqparast has over Joaquim Silva. It's a good win. It's a real good win. Joaquim Silva has some good wins in the UFC himself. Nasrat Haqparast gets the shutout victory against him. I'll bet that he does the same to Drew Dober and probably gets to finish around the second round. Nasrat Haqparast by second round finish. Moving on. Andre Fili versus Sadiq Youssef. Again, underdogs are lovely here. Andre Fili could very easily beat Sadiq Youssef. Very easily beat Sadiq Youssef. I am going to bet on Sadiq Youssef, however. Am I, though? Fuck off, man! I hate this voice in my head. It's such a cunt. I was going to pick Sadiq Youssef this entire time. I feel like I'm going to go with Andre Fili. He beat Shaman Moraes more impressively. And that's an opponent that both of them share. Even though Sadiq Yusuff had a very dominant performance against him, Sadiq Yusuff also has a bit of an early stoppage win in the UFC as well. Has fought a bunch of cans in, let's be honest with ourselves here, 21-7 for Gabriel Benitez, 11-4 for Sheymon Moraes. Since then, obviously, he's gone on a bit more losses in a row. If he beats Philly, I'll buy into some hype. Okay? There you go. If he beats Andre Philly, I'll buy into the hype. Andre Philly's going to take him down and wrestle fuck him and win that way because he trains at Team Alpha Male and they know how to wrestle over there. So I think that Andre Philly's going to get the job done by using his wrestling game. Moving on. That's a good underdog. But Sadiq Yusuff is the favourite for a reason, for sure. But as an underdog, Andre Philly, that is too juicy to pass up. Roxanne Modafferi versus Macy Barber. Interesting. Very interesting. I'm probably going to bet that Macy Barber gets the job done. I'm going to bet on Roxanne Modafferi. This is why you can't trust my predictions, because they're on the spot and they're retarded. I'm going to pick Roxanne Modafferi. I think she's going to hold Macy Barber against a cage for 3 rounds. She's the bigger girl. She's the stronger girl. She's the more experienced girl, even though she's 23-16, which is fucking hideous to even have in the UFC as a record like that. Jesus Christ. There's only one man who can rock a fucking record like that, and that man's name is Artem fucking Lobov. You know what I mean? Meh! You know what I'm saying? There's only few goats of this game that can rock a fucking record like that, and Roxanne Modafferi is not one of them. I want Macy Barber to win. I feel like Roxanne Modafferi is going to do a good job of holding her against a cage. Because, let's be honest, in female fights, the ability to hold someone against the cage and do nothing seems to work real well. And I think that's what's going to happen here. She's the bigger girl than Macy Barber. I think she's going to out-strength her and out-experience her against the cage. Macy Barber loses by decision. Roxanne Modafferi gets the job done. Moving to the main card. Interesting. Anthony Pettis versus Carlos Diego Ferreira. Jesus. I'm going with Carlos Diego Ferreira, for sure. Even though he's the older man, he's younger in terms of his career, in terms of how much damage he's taken. And there's a thing with Pettis right now where, listen, if Pettis comes in and doesn't break a fucking bone in his body, he's probably going to win a lot of these fights that he's in. Tony Ferguson fight, he breaks a hand. Max Holloway fight, breaks a hand. Nate Diaz fight, breaks his foot in the first round. Like, you know, another one just off the top of my head. Dustin Poirier breaks his rib in the middle of an exchange. Like, there's a wear and tear on the body that Diego Ferreira just doesn't have with his 2 losses. And he's just come off a very dominant decision win over Maybek Taisumov that a lot of people were calling the next Khabib because obviously he's from Dagestan, so everyone just fucking hypes him up. But Diego Ferreira came in, shut that shit down. Dominant decision victory, very clear. Got it done. Before that, this guy's the Cliffman killer. Beats Rustam Khabilov. Before that, 24-4. The next guy up at lightweight, Carlos Diego Ferreira, just goes in there, defeats him by a clear-cut decision. Carlos Diego Ferreira is a problem, and I feel like he's going to beat Anthony Showtime Pettis. There is a certain amount of times. Listen, I picked Pettis to beat Nate Diaz. I picked Pettis to beat Wonderboy Thompson. I actually picked Pettis to beat Wonderboy Thompson via leg kicking him for 2 rounds and then getting the finish either in the late 2nd or the 3rd round. That was my official prediction. I got it pretty good. I don't see him winning this one. At 155, making the drain, I feel like this is the last hurrah for Pettis. I want him to win, because if he wins, he says he wants Dan Hardy, which I think would be a fun little gimmicky fight for the fans. I love the sound of that, and Anthony Pettis is a big name, so it's kind of helpful to have him around. I feel like Carlos Diego Ferreira is going to take the win here and get it done in dominant decision fashion. Pettis is probably going to break another hand. I can't bet on him. You know? If you give me, which 2 cars are going to win out of this race? This one car broke down 3 weeks ago. Before that, it broke down 6 months ago. Before that, a year ago, it broke down again. I'm just going to pick Carlos Diego Ferreira every time. I really am. I can't see a world in which picking Anthony Pettis would be a good idea. I hope he wins. He can win. Don't see it happen. Claudia Gadelha versus Alexa Grasso. Jesus! Whew! My God, I need to get my fucking E45 cream out, boys, because this is going to be a wonderful night of fights. I might have to switch the camera off on my fight companion, light some fucking candles. Jesus, that is wonderful. I am going to pick Alexa Grasso. Am I? I am. She's taller. She's got longer reach. I feel like she may have learned a few mistakes from her last fight on not capitalizing on a potential finish when it's there, because it was there against Carla Esparza. A lot of people were screaming robbery, but I wasn't. I thought Carla Esparza won, but Alexa Grasso just didn't switch on when the girl was fucking wobbling in front of her, which is a stupid thing to do. And I feel like this time, if she gets Cordelia hurt, and Cordelia's coming off some losses, I think Grasso's going to get the jump on her and get the job done, maybe by finishing the third round, I'll say. Alexa Grasso gets the job done in the third round by finish. Moving on. Alexei Oleinik versus Maurice Green. Somehow this is on the main card of a McGregor fight card. Holy shit! Maurice Green is on the main card of a pay-per-view. Would you fucking believe it? I think he's going to win, though. I know why they're on the main card over some other fights. Honestly, I feel like Andre Fili Sadiq Yusuf would have been a better fit for the main card. However, Alexei Oleinik, Maurice Green, it's a decent fight. Maurice Green coming off a loss to Sergey Pavlovich. Before that, he was on a bit of a spree, beating Junior Albini. Then he beat another guy that I can't quite remember the name of, some short, fat guy. Jeff Hughes beat him by a close decision as well. I feel like he's going to find it in him to beat Alexei Oleinik. Big, tall guy, hard to keep down, hard to take down, hard to control on the ground. I just feel like he's going to land on Alexei Oleinik, who, let's be honest, at 57 and 13, 42 years of age, the amount of KO losses that he's had, maybe a little bit chinny. I could see Maurice Green landing a good combo on his chin and getting him out of there in the first round. Good spotlight for Maurice Green. Listen, you're further the way down to the card for a Conor McGregor fight night. It's an amazing stuff. It's amazing stuff for Maurice Green. A good opportunity. Sucks for Sergey Pavlovich, right? KO's Maurice Green and gets fucking... And now Maurice Green gets the opportunity against Oleinik. Madness. Either way, Maurice Green gets the job done. Holly Holm versus Raquel Pennington. I'll probably go Raquel Pennington. She's like got this like this chunk to her that I like. Not fat. I won't say fat. She's got this like thickness to her that I kind of like in terms of a damage taking standpoint. If you look at the two girls' performances against Amanda Nunes, you'll know what I mean. I mean, Pennington can take a fucking shot and she can dish it out as well. I believe Pennington's coming off a big win herself over a decent opponent in Irene Aldana, who's just got a massive KO. Just got the whole world talking. So Raquel Pennington's going to get the job done here. I'll be honest with you guys. I like her damage-taking ability. I don't like Holly Holm's damage-taking ability whatsoever. I think it's maybe coming to the end of Holly Holm's career. She is 38. As fit as she is, and as much as I'd love to clap them cheeks, the reality of it is she's 38 years old. Prime's long gone. You know, like, if you're a female fighter and you can't have kids no more, and you're getting to that kind of age, maybe it's time to stop fighting. You know? 38 years of age. Jesus, have some respect for yourself, would you? Jesus, Holly Holm. I feel like she's going to lose to Raquel Pennington. By decision. Not by decision. It's 3-rounder. By decision. By decision's good from me. Conor McGregor versus Donald Cerrone. I made a video. But I'm going to do a quick summary. Let's play a game. On this hand, we have points for Conor McGregor. On this hand, we have points for Donald Cerrone. Best first-round fighter in the world. The most switched... I'll change that because some of you may disagree with me. The most switched on fighter as soon as the bell rings. Conor McGregor. Donald Cerrone, one of the least switched on fighters as soon as that bell rings. The biggest fight of Donald Cerrone's career. Let me move it onto camera. Just another fight in Conor McGregor's career. Get him a big comeback. If he loses, it sucks, but got 100 million. Chilling out, another big fight, day in, day out, does the championship shit all the time, in the championship fights, in the main event where everything's on the line and it's the big show. Donald Cerrone coming in, no head movement in the first round against a guy with laser fast punches and accuracy and power. Donald Cerrone only knew this was at 170, 8 weeks out, which means he's not going to be able to build himself into a proper 170 pounder that he was before. I think Conor McGregor gets it done in the first round by KO viciously. Donald Cerrone, coming off 2 losses in a row, one by TKO, beat the shit out of fashion in Tony Ferguson fight. Like, Tony Ferguson beat the shit out of him. Let's be real. Let's be real here. Although it was a bit of a weird stoppage, what way was that fight going? It was going towards Tony Ferguson, probably going to finish him in the third round, right? Then we go Justin Gaethje, gets kind of KO'd. Let's be real. I know it says TKO because Cerrone isn't dead. And apparently that seems to be the requirements to get a KO on your record is you have to virtually kill someone and leave them completely unconscious. But I think that's as close to a KO that you can get without going completely out cold. Donald Cerrone had a vicious loss to Justin Gaethje just 4 months ago, guys, man. I'm hesitant when guys come back 6 months after when they get KO'd. Darren Till got KO'd by fucking Jorge Masvidal. 6 months later or 7 months later, whatever it was, he came back to the octagon. I was hesitant about his chin. I still picked him to beat Kelvin Gastelum because I'm a fucking genius, you know? And obviously that was just obvious. Didn't wing that one for a Hail Mary underdog whatsoever. Just knew that was going to happen. But I worried. 6-7 months after a KO, I genuinely worry. I really do. And for Donald Cerrone to be coming off 4 months, that's just not good for me. Like, he might be ending up like a good version of James Vick at this point. Like, it's just constantly turning around after these KO losses. I don't like it, man. I really don't. And you're talking about, oh, well, Donald Cerrone's a longer fighter. Guess what? Got less of a reach. He has less reach than Conor McGregor. He's about 4 inches, 5 inches taller with a lesser reach by about 3 centimeters, 2.5 centimeters here. Conor McGregor's going to win. There's a chance that Donald Cerrone could go in there and try and take him down. In the first round, I think he needs to do that. Before they get sweaty. Get his hands on McGregor, take him down. Also, it's not going to work like that. You don't just go out there and just go, alright, routine double leg. Let me get in there and do it. There's so much that goes on around. You don't just shoot a double leg and get it. It doesn't work like that. You don't just shoot a single leg and get it at this point in the MMA. Conor McGregor's takedown defense is criminally underrated in his career because it's the one weakness he has. And I'll say this as well. The same way Khabib's stand-up is criminally underrated. Because you see someone who's so good at one thing that the other stuff must be shit, right? In comparison, the other stuff must be terrible. Because they're so good at this one part of the game. The other stuff must be terrible. Khabib's stand-up isn't that bad. Honestly, he does some technical errors, let's be honest, but then every fighter does that. And remember, people gave Joe Rogan a hard time for shitting on Khabib's stand-up a little bit with the commentary, but you can't help but do that. But you have to realise that you're doing that with someone. You have to realise that you're looking at someone who's so good at this, that this in comparison looks terrible, when in fact this is actually good, but you're just comparing it to this, which makes it look shit. You know? Conor McGregor's going to win. I really think so. It's not that simple to just go out there and out-wrestle someone in the first round, especially with all the nerves on Donald Cerrone, especially with this being the biggest fight of his career, especially with how bad he is in the first round generally in his fights. Conor McGregor's going to get in there and time him with a left counter. If Justin Gaethje can do it, Conor McGregor can too. 170 does favour Donald because there isn't as much of a vicious cut for him to have to go through. However, Conor's going to get it done. We good? Like and subscribe. Thank you for watching. Click that button there. Goodbye, guys. See you later.